Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Fish Locker out on the shore. Springtime is definitely my favourite time of year. I absolutely love it. Everything is coming through fresh. We have got all the leaves coming through on the trees. We've got wild garlic growing through, primroses, bluebells. It is beautiful. It is also a fantastic time of year to go coastal foraging. That is what I am doing today. I am down on the shoreline. We have got very large spring tides. For anybody who doesn't know, the tides, two different types of tides. Spring tides are your largest tides. That means that there's a greater movement of water between high tide and low tide. Neaps are the small tides. Coastal foraging is best done on your spring tides because the tide goes out further and uncovers things that aren't usually uncovered. I always start my session, don't matter if it's a new place that I've never been to, that will help you out. I start it on the high tide line because anything that I'm hoping to find out there, I'm going to be able to find up here. Because if it dies, for whatever reason, it will get washed up to the high tide line. So immediately looking down here, we know in this area there are going to be limpets, there are going to be mussels, we have got winkles, we have got surf clams, there's another surf clam, slipper limpets. In fact, these slipper limpets, I'll mention these really quickly. Slipper limpets are invasive. You're not supposed to take these because you're not allowed to transport them because you could inadvertently spread them to an area. Yeah, slipper limpets are invasive. We have oysters. Oh, they're two of my favourite shells right now. Oh, there's another one. These two are auger shells, and this one is actually called a Wental trap. Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. If you can't tell, I love this. I am in my elements. I love it. Yeah, today we're looking for shellfish. I'm an hour and a half before low tide. I'm going to make my way down to the low tide line now, and I will point out and show you everything that I find. But yeah, we're looking for things like cockles, clams, razor clams, and scallops today. Let's go. This is a native flat oyster. Let me see if I can find one of the. Yeah, there we go. This here is a native flat oyster, and this is an invasive Pacific rock oyster. A native one, invasive one. All of these eggs under here are actually the eggs of a stingwinkle. This creature here. There's the other one there, look. So those two guys, well, guy and a girl I'm assuming, have laid all these eggs. Yeah. We're working our way down to the tide line now. This is where I'm going to start looking for stuff. I'm looking for squirts of water coming out of the ground for my razor clams. These are the razor clam shells. Now they live in the sand, like buried underneath the sand, straight up right like that. So we're looking for a little hole on top, like that. When I find them, I'll show you. Yeah, that's what the razor clam looks like. There's another interesting one there. That is one of my favourite shells from the seashore. That is an auger shell. It's just like a textbook shell. If you got a kid to draw a shell, it would either be a scallop or it'd be one of those, wouldn't it? Beautiful. There's one. There's another one. Oh. Thought our luck was in then. That's what we're looking for. There's a rib bone from something, possibly a sheep or a deer. These areas here, can you see where there's like bits have been dug out and turned over? That is quite likely to be bream, gilt-head bream. There's another one. These sponges here are brilliant. I think they look cool. there are 2 queeny scallops. 3, 4. Look, 1, 2, 3. These ones, this is about as big as they get. But yeah, they're pretty small out there. I think I'm going to leave these be. But there is also something quite interesting. I'm going to have to switch to the other camera to show you those, but those are sea hares. One of the fascinating things that sea hares do, there's one, there's the other one, is that when they are under duress, when they're under attack by predators, they secrete like a purple dye. Leave them in the water there. In this area around here, there are a lot of oysters. Like, there's one, there's one, there's one. And there are actually a lot of queeny scallops. I might start collecting a few. You do see them splashing every now and again. You see them squirting because they're clapping. There's one. There, look. See it there? There's another one. There's quite a big one there as well. Another quite a large oyster. That is what we're looking for, but we're looking for the grown-ups. That is a king scallop, but a baby. There is a rather beautiful dahlias anemone, Urticina felina, right next to that sponge. That's a beautiful shell. Yeah. This is what we're looking for. I'm going to have a little bit of a wade out and see if I can't spot anything, but yeah, this is the size and the type that we're looking for. That's a spiny cockle, or a king cockle. All I have here is I have some table salt that I've just put inside of a bottle, and I've just had one of them out of there and it's just gone straight back down again. So I'll try and I didn't get the camera out in time. What I'm looking for is a little hole in the sand that looks like a little slit. Right, we'll try this one here. See this hole here? All you do is you take hold, give a little wiggle, there it is. There's your razor clam. Just regular table salt, there. There you go. Just like that. There's another one. Right. This is the top, and this is the foot at the end. It sticks this out, puts it, shoots it out, bulges up and pulls itself into the sand. And all you're doing is you're just looking for like a little slit in the sand, like that. Perfect. Oh, there you go. That is what we're looking for. And it is over minimum. Brilliant. Got a lot of growth on the top of it. But yeah, there's your scallop. These are whelk eggs. If I find a whelk, I'll show you. If I haven't found one, I'll put one in here in the corner there to show you what they are. Those are the egg cases from a whelk. I'm checking all along up the edges of here, because what happens is when a wave washes, these sometimes get washed up, like these waves that you see here. They get washed up and washed up and washed up, and then jammed into a crevice like that. So I'm looking in all the little cracks and crevices for them. There's one there. And here is a little tiny one buried in the sand, look. Now that one there is actually too small, but this one isn't. This one's big enough. Oh, there, look. That really is a baby. A little tiny baby pinky. Look. That is a beautiful little one. But yeah, these two are too small. The minimum landing size for these scallops is 100mm across the back, from between there and there. So this one is probably just on the measure, if not a tiny bit too small. So I'm going to chuck him back into the deeper water, and hopefully I'll find him in a year or two when he's bigger. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm buzzing. We're about half an hour before low water now, so I'm going to check amongst all these rocks, walk down the ways there to try and find any more. But to find them like that, bang on, that's exactly what I was talking about. Just in that little patch of sand. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's awesome. There's a little brown edible crab hiding away in the rocks. Well, get yourself tucked back in there, lad. Ah, we're in the right place. That's another lovely one. Ah, winner. Fantastic. There's one. Is it full? Yes, that is an absolute monster. Yeah, I'm over the moon with that one. That one is an absolute giant. Right, we're almost down to low water now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working my way back, and I'm going to wade about in the water and see what I can find. And then possibly, if I've got time, I'm going to try and get a few more razor clams out. These razor clams, I aren't actually going to eat these. I'm going to use these as bait to try and catch bream. These are really good bait for gilted bream. Stick a bit of water in here as well. I didn't see any point putting water in it straight away, just because it was just heavier. I mean, these shells they live in intertidal zone, they don't mind being dry for a couple of minutes. I was just making the bucket heavier for myself. Yeah. Oh. Ah, fantastic. Not only am I looking for them, but I'm feeling for them with my feet. This one down here, I was literally walking past and I just heard slightly too small again though. Oh, there's an oyster shell. Put it a little bit deeper out, got more chance of surviving there, because seagulls can find them when they're up high and dry like that. All I heard was like a as I was walking past them. Part of a lure. Stick that in the bin. There's another one. Another little tiny one. They are incredibly well camouflaged. So close. Yep, we have a winner. We have one here and we have one there. Oh, this one's starting to do something, and we also have one here. There's one. This is a sponge. The scallops I'm looking for, out here they won't be out in the open, they'll be hiding under the sand. When I find one, if I find one, I'll point it out to you, because you're looking for just like a hollow ball, a bit like this here. There. There. Perfect. See the outline? Watch. That's actually how they evade predators. They clap and swim away. Just not fast enough. Brilliant. Oh, no. There's another one. Only a small one though. Now at this moment in time I'm listening for claps, for slaps. I'm listening to hear like the scallops clapping, because when they're out of the water, this is the skeleton of a sea potato. There, look. There. Another one that's too small, but I found that by listening. Cockle. Where are you? Virgin. That's an oyster. But there he is there, look. I heard it. Heard it clap. Just want a bigger one. Again, I've just heard one clap, and I'll show you how far away I've heard it from. It is there. There, look. Slightly too small. Just on the measure. There's one here. Slightly bigger, yeah, and saw another one as I was walking over. There, look, there's another one. Again, slightly too small, but yeah, I heard him. There he is now, look. There's the other one. All of these little frills that stick out the side are like eyes. Measure up against the other ones. He's big enough to keep. I'll see how many I end up with. There's another one, look. And more of the sea hares. Here's another one. Stacks of them today. God, loads and loads of little ones there. There's another one. There is a proper sized spiny cockle, also called king cockle. I've tried eating those before and they aren't the nicest. Oh, I'll try that though. Try that one there. Try that one there. Try that one there. Which one's going to come out first? We have a winner. Keep this one. Oh, what are you doing? small. Too small, send him back. You're a noisy one, you, aren't you? Oh, there's a little baby one. Oh, he's a beauty, that one. There you go. That's a better one, and that one's a better one as well. There we go. There we go. Two more beauties. There you go. That's a beauty, that one. That's the foot on the end. That's where all the meat is. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is one that came out and I left it. Come on, out you come. There we go. Perfect. Got a great haul of razor clams and some absolutely stunning scallops. That worked out perfectly. I managed to get right down into the low tide line and found some scallops. Loads and loads of small ones as well, so that's a great sign for the future. And as the tide was coming back, I managed to collect a few more razor clams. So we do have a stunning haul of these razor clams. Now hopefully I'm going to be able to turn these into a gilted bream. We have some king scallops, some queen scallops, some cockles and some surf clams. Now because I didn't know I was going to find these scallops and these clams, I collected these as I went. Because I have these, I'm going to return all these to the tide line. Yeah. There's no need to take absolutely everything. I have what I need, and I'm going to return everything else so that we can come back and get it another time. But I'm going to make my way back to the van now before the tide cuts me off. These queenies actually like to be tucked in next to a rock. So I'll put them all down here next to this rock, and chances are by the time that the tide goes back down again they will have reattached themselves to it. That is fantastic. I am over the moon. This really is such a beautiful time to be out and about. Yeah. All the garlic's coming fresh through, all the bluebells. I love it. Mrs. Fish Locker and I have come out for a romantic cook-up on the beach with the scallops that I found yesterday. The sun will soon be over onto us. It is just breaking over this top. I'm going to clear out an area, start a fire, and I'm going to shuck these scallops and I'll show you how we're going to cook them. We're going to cook them on a bed of coals. Yeah. Oh. There are some absolute beauties in amongst this lot. I'll show you it as I'm doing it. We have the fire going. As that's dying down to a bed of coals, I am going to shuck these scallops in here. See them clapping. Better still stick my finger, there it goes. Actually, when if you can see in there, there is a disc of muscle, like inside there. And all I'm going to do is I'm just running a knife along the inside of the shell, and it just separates it like that. This around here is the frill, that is the roe, and that disc of muscle there is the main of what we're going to eat. The black part you can see is the stomach, so we're going to try and take all that out in one. Just like that. Now I am also going to separate the roe because it's quite a big one in here.
It looks paler than some of them.
Yeah. It's when they're spawning out. Now this, if you're going to keep that, you could take that home and you could make it into stock. I'm actually going to take it home and we're going to use it as bait for bream. That fire's dying down nicely now to some coals, and here are the finished shucked scallops. All we're going to do now is we're going to add a little tiny bit of butter, some garlic and a little bit of hot sauce to a few of these. The beauty of cooking them like this is the shell, the bull side of the shell, acts as like a little cooking dish for them. I'll show you that as we're doing it, but yeah, almost time to cook. That is hot now. The trick is to try and get the coals laid out evenly so they all cook evenly, but you're going to have to move them around a little bit, which is where a pair of gloves like this that I usually forget and end up burning myself. This is one of our favourite ways to cook them.
So much nicer.
Really simple as well. So much so that they tell you when they're ready to be turned over.
It's even better when there's no dishes.
These have been on there for less than a minute, and you can see what I mean. That the shells act as like a little cooking dish for them. They smell delicious. Now, they let you know when it's ready to turn them over because they come unstuck. Look, there, that one's ready to be turned. That one's still a little bit stuck, so it's not quite ready yet. That one's ready to be turned. There we go. Yeah, another minute and they'll be ready to come off. Oh, it smells amazing. Now you really do need some of these just because those shells are hotter than you can imagine. If you touched it with your skin would just stick to it. You can hear. Sit yourself down, love, and get the bread.
Yeah.
it's quite flaky.
It's what my legs look like when my fake tan wears off.
That is absolutely perfect. This is one of my favourite parts. It's all the butter and the juice left underneath. You just kind of soak it up on a piece of bread like that.
There's some bits that have gone like a little bit crispy as well, that's quite nice. It doesn't taste like charcoal, but...
Don't worry, I'll do the dishes.
Alright, thanks.
And there we go, there's all the dishes. I don't mind doing the washing up when it's like this. All we're going to do now is we'll just take all these empty shells, go and return them to the sea. I'm going to try and say that this isn't going to be a competition, although anybody in a relationship will know that everything is always a competition. We're returning these shells to the sea. I do that because shells and bits and pieces that break down make sand, and also there'll be places for creatures to hide underneath or to make their home. You have to try and make the cooked ones float, and you have to skim the flat ones. Oh. Tell you what, might have to be a big one. Yes.
Mine landed too hard, didn't it?
Oh, well done. Oh, man, sunk as well. I was hoping that I was going to be able to, like, oh, bosh, straight away. Yeah. I give up. Yep, dishes have been done.
Thanks. That's what I get for being sarcastic.
Yeah. There, that fire now has died down to nought. That is an important thing that we try and advocate in our videos. It's not only that you take only what you need and you treat the natural world with respect and appreciation, but that you leave no trace from where you've been. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Let's go.